A very good morning once again. I, Yachna Malhotra, welcome you all to the first panel discussion session of Business Summit 2021, New Frontiers of Environment, Sustainability and Governance. So in this first panel session, we have with us our esteemed panel speakers of the day, Mr. S.K. Sethi, founder and CEO, Insurance Foundation of India, Mr. Saurabh Jain, Vice President, Paytm, Mr. Sahil Nair, who would be joining us shortly from KPMG as Senior Associate Director. He'll be joining us from Mumbai. Mr. Sulabh Goyal, Vice President ENY. Ms. Ritika Mathur, Director Grant Thornton. So before I proceed further, I just want to ensure that I'm audible and visible to all my eminent panel speakers.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're audible. All right. Thank you so much, sir. It is great to connect with you again. I hope I had the fortune to speak with you earlier also on this virtual platform. And once again, a very hearty welcome to all the esteemed speakers. This panel will have the thought sharing from all the speakers one by one on the given theme for about 15 minutes, followed by question and answer session from the audience. So with the permission of all, I would like to start the session. And to start the discussion, I would like to introduce you all to our first eminent speaker, Mr. S.K. Sethi, founder and CEO, Insurance Foundation of India. Mr. Sethi, I hope I'm audible and visible to you, sir.
Yes. Yes, you are.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. So I just take 2 minutes to introduce you to the audience, and then I'll put it to you for your address. Mr. Sethi is founder and vice president, Insurance Foundation of India, and director of RIA Insurance Brokers Private Limited, an IRDA approved insurance brokerage firm headquartered in New Delhi. Mr. Suresh Sethi has been Vice President and Director of Insurance Brokers Association of India from 2004 to 2013, and he held the position of Co-Chairman of Insurance Committee of PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry for many years. He is also on the panel of leading global consulting firms and has provided consulting to foreign institutional investors and Indian insurance companies as well. He is the author of the book, Best Guide to Buy Health Insurance, and he has presented papers in various national conferences and internationally. His views are covered in reputed publications like Mint, Financial Express, Business Week, Business Today, Economic Times, Outlook Money, Dainik Bhaskar, and many premium more. He appears regularly on TV shows where various aspects of insurance, industry, and products are discussed. So, sir, we extend our hearty welcome to you. And at this note, I request you to address the audience with your words of wisdom. Over to you, sir.
Good morning to all of you. To add to my introduction, which is very well given by her, I am from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, and then I did MBA from Faculty of Management Studies. I was posted in London, and I did course in corporate finance from London Business School. I am having 35 years experience in setting up of large size manufacturing plants where the question of environment was always coming up and it was being handled. Now that I am highly focused and I am working for last 20 years in the area of insurance, so I am bringing to you experience, my feelings as far as environment is concerned from someone who is from industry, who is from normal society, and who is looking at various things from very different perspective, because my other panel members, they are very much from this line. They will come up with facts and all that thing, and they will make value addition to it. I start my message that I had opportunity of attending a conference in PhD Chamber of Commerce on this topic a long time back, and the chief guest was Mr. Bhairav Singh Shekhawat, who was Chief Minister of Rajasthan at that time, and later on he became the vice president of the country. When lot was being talked about environment, and his turn came, and he said that he, of course, was talking in Hindi, but because I am continuing in English, so I will continue in English. He said that it is very good to sit in air conditioned auditoriums like this and talk about environment. But me being the chief minister of Rajasthan, I have to take care of those poor people who are having nothing to eat, and all the family members are starving in the evening and the children are asking for roti. He said that if roti is that important, then one has to forget about the environment part. He said that the dyeing units, the fabric producing next to Jaipur is Sanganer, and which is very famous for producing hand printed or screen printed and those block printing fabrics and all that thing. He said that we know that when the fabric is being dyed, when the uh, things are being put in the garbage and all that thing, and they are affecting the environment. But then we have to take care of the employment generation. We have to take care of the survival of the society. We have to take care of all that thing which is there. So I bring that point to it that in this whole game of environment, who are three main participants? They are government, they are society, and they are industry. We are all interdependent on these three things. Government role is that the people have to be provided with employment and survival. Society has to behave in the manner in which the law of the country is asking them to behave, and industry has to survive on the basis of it that they have to do business, they have to do manufacturing. If you look at the DYE, that is dye, which is color, which is used in fabric and all that thing, that is dye and dye stuff industry. It is totally closed, it is totally shut off in countries like Western Europe, Germany, and all that thing. And it moved to India, where it is that it's very much focused or located in Gujarat and Maharashtra, because we know that when the dye stuff industry will be there will be pollution which will be caused to the environment. It will be in the air, it will be in the water, and all that thing. Anyone who is engaged in electroplating industry is discharging something in the atmosphere, in the drains and all that thing. If we install very expensive equipment to treat the water which is going into the sewer lines or which is going into Jamuna River, then we may become totally unviable to survive. And if we shut down our industry, then we are affecting the employment. And that will be the one which the people will realize it, that in case they don't have employment, if they don't have earnings, are we going to support them from the government by giving them dole or giving them pension funds or something, unemployment things or all that thing? It's a very big question mark. So it is that industry has to survive, seeing the situation which we are having in the country. We are having need, we have to fulfill the need of the society, and we have to produce products which are needed by them. So this is what is in that brings us to this point, that where is the role of the government ending, where it is the role of the society is ending, and where the role of the industry is ending. Because we come across instances where the pollution being caused and water pollution being caused, it is that industry, they are unable to process that water to the desired level. So therefore, what they do in, I'm talking of Ghaziabad only, where it is that industry people dig a bore in the ground, which is 6 feet, 600 feet down, and they discharge all that polluted water into that. And this is the one which is, and this is the one which is ultimately going to appear somewhere, and someone will be using the hand pump or bore well and taking out that water, and which will be supplied to people and families and all that thing, and that will result in diseases which are very, very harmful. We are talking of Punjab, where the farmers are here, and then it is that, and Punjab has really gone very deep, deep into the taking out the water. And it is also having, some of the districts of Punjab are having high level of arsenic, which is bringing in cancer and all that thing. And there are some towns which are associated with cancer. It is all because of the chemicals which have been discharged into the water and which have affected the society at large. Who is responsible for taking care of society? It is the government. They have to set up the hospitals. They have to come out with solution to how to take care of the society, of the people, take care of those things, and which are in cancer is one of the main thing which is as outcome of environment pollution and all that thing. So one has to have a very basic change in thinking. I have been traveling to Germany for last 45 years frequently. And in Germany, they were even at that time were having the units which were processing the used newspapers or waste newspapers into recycling and producing paper. It is much easier to produce paper from the used newspaper rather than from the bamboos and trees to be cut and then being that is. And Germany has been a country which is very, very prosperous for a long time, which we have been seeing that they are having the policy that the toilet roll which is to be used in the offices or in the homes, there is no need to bleach it, because when you bleach pulp, then you are using lot of bleaching powder which is affecting the environment. So they are habitual of using the toilet rolls which are slightly creamish in colors. Whereas USA is a country which has been very prosperous again, but they have been always propagating and using very, which is snow white color, that is toilet rolls. And we in India are also following the same thing. That is, it is that can we learn from Germany? Can we recycle our newspapers? Can we have toilet rolls which might be slightly creamish in look, but they will be taking care of environment? So these are the things which are, that is, we have to become. And the three pillars are government, society, and industry. Industry has to survive, industry has to grow, industry has to upgrade to generate employment, to produce goods which are needed by the society. Society is going to be the consumer of it, they have to do it. And out of that only, it is that the taxation which is comes and which goes to the government for putting up large infrastructure projects and all that thing. But then it is that one has to change the thinking. The prime minister may be talking to the best of the persons in the world. It can be, he can be talking to the US president or German or French president and all that thing. Is it not that he should spend some time in talking to US? There are states like Georgia which are having trees which are growing at a much faster pace than the trees which we are having in our country. In case we can have those high growth trees planted, maybe that after 10 years, after 15 years, we will have much greener environment in the country rather than Kikar and all those old timer trees. Kikar was brought into this country by the Britishers when Delhi was having the serious problem of subsoil water, because Delhi was having water at 4 feet level. But now, when the water level has gone down to 200 feet, why we are still having kikar tree, which is habitual of sucking water and reducing the water level in the soil? So we have to change with time, and all that can be done by making. Maybe Russia is one country which can provide us with the trees which are much fast growing than our trees which we are having it. So we have to have a collaboration with those foreign countries in making the country much greener, so that we can have much better rainfall, we can have improvement in the climate, and we can reduce the consumption of electricity by having suitable there was a campaign of the Delhi government some 10 years back that set the air conditioning at 26 degrees. Now, 26 degrees temperature and 20 degrees temperature, it makes a lot of difference in electricity consumption and affecting the environment. Can we have that? We will, all of us will set our air conditioning at 26 degrees, which is quite comfortable, or it is that we will go for 20 degrees. So lot has to be done, which has to be done at the ground level. And naturally, the government is doing a lot. Society is also adapting itself to the changes, and industry has to go on upgrading themselves. In case they are polluting the water now, if they are polluting the water table now, they have to
Sethi
change.
sir, I'm sorry to intervene. Just wanted to remind you that we have last 1 minute to conclude. I'm sorry, but because it is a time-bound session, so that's the reason I
Thank
wanted to remind you.
So
Thank you, sir.
it is that it's a combination of all. It cannot be done only by the government. It cannot be done by the society. It cannot be done by industry. But while doing anything, one has to take it that industry has to survive, because industry is the one which is producing it. And it is that bringing in the insurance perspective, there are insurance companies in the world who have now stopped insuring industry which is adding to the pollution. They say we will not insure them. World Bank had taken a step few years back, and they don't fund now thermal power plants which are using coal. So we have done a wonderful in this country by going for solar power, and let us have that the changes which we are bringing for will be good for the prosperity of the society. Society has to prosper. That's our objective. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your sharing your valuable thoughts with us. And as correctly mentioned by sir, I hope this pandemic itself has made us all realize the importance of saving environment. And it's the industry, government, and we as citizens, responsible citizens of the country, have to come together to save this environment, as society has to prosper and society should be saved from all this. So thank you so much, sir, for once again joining us in this panel session one, despite your busy schedules. We are sincerely thankful to you, and we would like to convey our thanks and gratitude to you by presenting you our virtual plaque. So I would request our Director Management, ma'am, Dr. Vidya Sekhri, to kindly present the virtual plaque to Mr. S.K. Sethi, Founder and CEO, Insurance Foundation of India.
Thank you, Mr. Sethi, for your wonderful presence and your really worth listening words. So I'm sure that audience has taken note of it. Rightly said by you that it is a combined effort of everybody, government, society, and industry. We have to come together, join the hands, and collaborate. So accept this virtual plaque to honor you. And I would request the coordinator to mail you all the memories of the time you spent with us. And thanks once again for being with us and sparing your time. Thank you,
Thank
Sethi.
you. Thank you. It's an honor to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Before I proceed further, my humble request to all the panel speakers to kindly take note of the time. It's 15 minutes to every speaker, as it's a time-bound session. So I am sorry, I would not be able to stretch beyond that. Now it is time for me to proceed further and introduce you all to our next speaker of the day, Mr. Saurabh Jain, Vice President, Paytm. Mr. Jain is currently working as Vice President and he's heading the Paytm Built for India program and also has an active role in startup products, developer relations, social impact, CSR, education and training with Paytm. Mr. Saurabh is also the founder of Fun to Do Labs. Fun to Do Labs believes in the motto, making education open and fun. And Fun to Do Labs is an open education project as well. He's a chartered accountant with keen interest in technology. He has authored 2 books on mobile application technology. He wrote Mobile Phone Programming, which was India's first book on mobile app programming. And this book was published in 2003 and was a technical book on J2MEE technology. He's the inventor of Personal Persistent Messaging System, PPMS, and Neurosymbolic Network Generation and Execution System, for which he has got the provisional patents as well. It has been always wonderful to listen to you, sir. We are once again thankful to you for joining us for this panel session 1. And we look forward to you to share your thoughts on this virtual platform. So over to you, Mr. Saurabh.
So, good afternoon, everyone. So, today's topic I think is very relevant, especially in the current environment. Till last year, we used to feel in Delhi, especially, and in NCR area, we used to feel pollution हमारा day to day हमें झेलना ही पड़ेगा. And I would be speaking in English because I generally believe that I have gone to many colleges and I've personally seen दिल से connect English होती है and दिमाग से connect English होती है. So what I have realized is that till last year we were thinking कि Delhi के अंदर धुआं रहेगा ही. But when this lockdown happened and we started seeing blue skies again, and personally having been around the world, I was very happy to see दिल्ली की स्काई बिल्कुल सैन फ्रांसिस्को या केरला की स्काई की तरह हो गई थी. So that really told us, and we had a lot of news reports also during that time ki due to lack of pollution, people were seeing mountain ranges 200 kilometers away and all. And what we realize is that it is humans who are causing pollution. तो हमें ये लगता था कि pollution is something जो हो चुका है, but as we can see कि humans are the one which are causing pollution. So human beings have to improve. Many people say Elon Musk Mars पे जाना चाहते हैं, and many people are great fans of Elon Musk, and I always say कि अर्थ को तो बर्बाद कर दिया, मार्स को भी बर्बाद करने जा रहे हैं हम. So we have to create an atmosphere which is very healthy. अब ये कैसे होगा? जैसे प्रीवियस स्पीकर वाज टेलिंग कि अगर आप कोई भी इंडस्ट्री ले लो, इलेक्ट्रोप्लेटिंग इज समथिंग व्हिच इज वेरी कॉमन. आप घर में कुछ भी यूज करोगे, इलेक्ट्रोप्लेटिंग मेटल का होता ही होता है हर चीज में. उसके अलावा अगर आप कपड़े कोई भी पहन रहे हो तो ऑब्वियसली कलर्ड ही पहनते हो. नोबडी वियर्स प्योर वाइट क्लोथ्स. तो एंड पेपर ऑब्वियसली एवरीबडी यूजेस. तो व्हाट आई हैव रियलाइज्ड इज दैट सी although Indian religions always say कि कम से कम लो, but unfortunately in the current environment people want to buy more and more, and उस केस में to reduce the amount of pollution I think is very difficult. So to reduce the amount of pollution is very difficult, and so I read a book recently called Abundance. तो वो मेरे को बड़ी अच्छी बुक लगी. तो उसमें ये था कि over the years, over last thousands of years, human beings की जो आदत है वो ये है कि चीजें कम होंगी. तो अगर आप 1000 साल पहले जाते हो तो people had just a small home, थोड़ा सा उनके पास grain होता था, and they had a few clothes and few earthen pots. And यही सेम आप 2000 साल पहले जाओ, 4000 साल पहले जाओ, हमेशा वही रहता था. And only the king or the mantris, all these people had some objects, some jewelry, but average people didn't have most of these things. But now what is happening is that we are getting into the age of abundance. Now everybody has practically everything. आज आप ये देखिए कि जो 20 साल पहले जो चीज एवरेज आदमी के पास नहीं थी, या जो इवन किंग्स एंड बिलियनियर्स के पास नहीं थी, आज वो एवरेज आदमी के हाथ में है. नाउ एवरेज पर्सन हैज अ मोबाइल फोन विच इज मोर पावरफुल देन द कंप्यूटर विच सेंट मैन टू मून. तो आप ये सोचिए कि एवरेज आदमी के पास वो मोबाइल फोन है. सो दैट बुक रियली चेंज माय पर्सपेक्टिव. इट सेड कि things are changing, and now what we can do is we can use technology. See, technology was the villain. Technology जो last 200 years की थी, that has created the pollution. The industrial revolution created the pollution. But now a new thing is coming which we call industry 4.0. So a new kind of industry is coming, and now all the captains of the industry are batting for कि हमें pollution खत्म करना है, and that I think is a great thing. For example, recently I read कि Mukesh Ambani has made a statement that we should use carbon capture technologies. So I am not an expert in carbon capture, but what I understand is that over last hundreds of years we were polluting by burning coal and all, and now technology has come where we can take carbon from the atmosphere and we can reduce the carbon in the atmosphere, and then we can use that carbon for various things uh, uh, for creating various kind of materials. So what I'm saying is that a lot of new technologies are coming. For example, in cars, so so we had all these wars in Middle East and everything was happening, and last although most of the students are very young, but 20 years पहले अगर आप देखो तो तालिबान का and all those things, Osama bin Laden was there, and पूरा Middle East was the hottest place in terms of action in the world. सारा action Middle East पे था, and Middle East was, why Middle East was one of the richest places, क्योंकि oil था. And then this person called Elon Musk came. He had in mind कि मैं एक ऐसी कार बनाऊंगा जो better होगी पेट्रोल की कार से भी, and he created Tesla. And now what is happening? When Joe Biden came as a president, तो उन्होंने अभी तक मिडिल ईस्ट के जितने लीडर्स हैं उनसे बात ही नहीं करी. मतलब ही कॉल्ड प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ चाइना और प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी बिफोर कॉलिंग पीपल इन मिडिल ईस्ट. क्या रीजन है? तो आई वाज हियरिंग दिस ऑन ट्विटर एंड दे सेड मिडिल ईस्ट की औकात कम हो गई है. नाउ वी हियर कि दुबई के अंदर देयर आर डिफॉल्ट्स बाय कंपनीज. जो यूएई की सबसे बड़ी कंपनी थी, अभी पीछे हमने सुना था कि उसने वो काफी ज्यादा लॉस वगैरह हो गए थे. रीजन क्या है? बिकॉज मिडिल ईस्ट की पावर क्यों खत्म हो गई है? सिर्फ इसलिए कि नाउ वी हैव टेस्ला. सो अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग इज कि टेस्ला आने के बाद नाउ पीपल नो कि इन नेक्स्ट 20 इयर्स मोस्ट ऑफ द कार्स विल रन विदाउट डीजल और पेट्रोल. तो अब ऑब्वियसली अगर आपको डीजल और पेट्रोल यूज नहीं करना होगा तो फिर मिडिल ईस्ट की वैल्यू क्या है? सो जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड. तो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप आई थिंक इज द आंसर टू creating a good environment. So obviously a good way is to reduce consumption, but I think वो आज के ज़माने में थोड़ा सा practical नहीं है. And unfortunately the way we have been living, and जो हमारे को एक psychologically एक बचपन से बताया जाता है कि ग्रोथ क्या होती है. हमारे को यही बताया जाता है कि ग्रोथ का मतलब ये होता है कि आपके पास कार होगी, बंगला होगा, फॉरेन ट्रिप्स होंगे. ग्रोथ है पढ़ाई करके आप क्या करोगे? एवरीबडी वांट्स टू बी सुंदर पिचाई इन इंडिया. जो भी पढ़ाई कर रहा है वो सब सुंदर पिचाई बनना चाहते हैं. कोई भी आदमी झारखंड का वो आदमी नहीं बनना चाहता जो ऑर्गेनिकली जी रहा है. हर एक का एम सुंदर पिचाई है जो सब कुछ अमेरिकन कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं. जैसे मिस्टर सेठी कह रहे थे कि अमेरिका इज द बिगेस्ट पोल्यूटर. आई हैव आल्सो पर्सनली गॉन एंड आई हैव सीन अमेरिका में कुछ भी बिना प्लास्टिक के नहीं मिलता. और इफ यू रिमेम्बर जो दादी जी या दादाजी कहते थे, नानी जी कहती थी कि कुछ भी बाहर का मत खाओ, क्रिएट एवरीथिंग ऑन योर ओन. एंड आज हम क्या कर रहे हैं? आज हम जोमेटो से, स्विगी से मंगाते हैं, प्लास्टिक का सब कुछ सामान आता है. एंड वी आर नॉट लिविंग अ हेल्दी सस्टेनेबल लाइफस्टाइल. अनफॉर्चुनेटली दैट इज द ट्रूथ. सो फ्यूचर आई थिंक वुड बिलोंग टू एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हु विल नाउ हैव दिस प्रॉब्लम. तो मेरा अपना ये मानना है कि ऑल्दो पीपल वर्शिप पीपल जो बहुत ज्यादा टेक्निकली सैवी होते हैं, एवरीबडी बिलीव्स कि गूगल बहुत अच्छी कंपनी है, एवरीबडी बिलीव्स कि अमेरिका बहुत आगे है. मेरा मानना है कि आप ये देखो, बिहार अगर आप देखो, यूपी को देखो, यूपी बिहार में कोविड में कम प्रॉब्लम हुई है और अमेरिका का ज्यादा बुरा हाल है. अब आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज द एक्सप्लेनेशन. मे बी हमारे यहाँ काढ़ा पीते थे उस वजह से कुछ इंप्रूवमेंट रही. आई डोंट नो. मेनी पीपल से कम टेस्ट हुए, बट इफ यू सी द स्टैटिस्टिक्स, यूपी बिहार हैव बीन टेस्टिंग एटलीस्ट 1 लाख पीपल एवरी डे फॉर लास्ट 6 to 8 months. तो अब क्या रीजन है? तो टेक्निकली savvy होने से अच्छा जरूरी नहीं होता है. मे बी वी आर लिविंग अ मोर सस्टेनेबल लाइफस्टाइल. आप याद देखो, हिंदुस्तान का गांव अभी भी ज्यादा सस्टेनेबल है रिलेटिव टू अमेरिका. तो मे बी कोविड का इम्यूनिटी से रिलेशन ऑब्वियसली है. एंड व्हेन यू लिव अ सस्टेनेबल लाइफस्टाइल, तो इंडिया में आप देखो लोग कपाल भाती करते हैं, इंडिया में लोग आप देखो मसाले चटनी सब कुछ खा रहे हैं. अमेरिका में आप देखोगे तो पीपल आर कंज्यूमिंग मोर ऑफ मैकडोनल्ड्स, कोका कोला, जिनसे ऑब्वियसली इम्यूनिटी कम होती है. तो आई थिंक मे बी वन एक्सप्लेनेशन may be that. I am not a doctor. I cannot explain. What I am saying is good environment is good for humans. And जो entrepreneur ये समझ लेगा, that entrepreneur would become a billionaire. तो आप एलोन मस्क को देखो, एलोन मस्क को 15 साल पहले ये समझ आ गया, और सिर्फ 2 वजह से एलोन मस्क आज वर्ल्ड के yesterday he became the second richest man, but 1 महीने से richest man थे. तो सिर्फ 2 वजह से एलोन मस्क richest man बने. Why? One was Tesla and second is SpaceX. तो आपने SpaceX अगर सुना हो, तो एलोन मस्क कहते हैं कि जो 50% कॉस्ट ऑफ अ रॉकेट वॉज कि आप रॉकेट करते थे तो वो जल जाता था और वो रॉकेट जल के सुहा हो जाता था. बट व्हाट एलोन मस्क क्रिएटेड वॉज कि जो 50% रॉकेट का जो पूरा बूस्टर फ्यूल वगैरह है, वो वापस फ्यूल बर्न करके वो पूरा वापस रॉकेट उतर जाता है, वो लॉन्च पैड पे दोबारा आ जाता है रॉकेट. एंड दैट टेक्नोलॉजी इज व्हाट इज बूस्टिंग स्पेसएक्स. स्पेसएक्स और इसरो में क्या फर्क है? यही फर्क है कि इसरो का रॉकेट ऊपर जाके भस्म हो जाता है और स्पेसएक्स का रॉकेट वापस आ जाता है. इसी वजह से एलोन मस्क की वैल्यू है. तो आप ये देखिए, इन्होंने सस्टेनेबिलिटी, एनवायरनमेंट को चूज किया एज अ थीम, एंड आज ही हैज बिकम अ बिलियनर. एक छोटा सा एक और एग्जांपल देता हूँ, मे नॉट बी डायरेक्ट, बट ये मैं अपने व्हेन आई जॉइंड पेटीएम, आई had another friend who was also VP in Paytm. I said देख पेटीएम में ना ज्वाइन करके मुझे एक चीज अच्छी लगती है कि पेटीएम एनवायरनमेंट के लिए अच्छी है. तो he said पेटीएम एनवायरनमेंट के लिए कैसे अच्छी है? वी आर जस्ट अ टेक्नोलॉजी कंपनी, हम एनवायरनमेंट के लिए क्या कर रहे हैं? तो मैंने कहा हम ये कर रहे हैं कि पीपल यूज फिजिकल नोट्स, और पेपर इज वेरी एनवायरमेंटली अनफ्रेंडली. तो जैसे मिस्टर सेठी कह रहे थे, तो अगर आप नोट्स यूज करने की जगह जब आप मोबाइल से पेमेंट करते हो, तो ऑब्वियसली आप पेपर की कंजम्पशन कम कर रहे हो. दूसरा, मेनी पीपल हैव हर्ड कि पेपर के थ्रू काफी कंटेजियस डिजीजेस ट्रैवल करते हैं नोट्स वगैरह के थ्रू. जैसे आई हैड हर्ड कि हेपेटाइटिस वगैरह ट्रैवल करते हैं. तो अगर आप ऑनलाइन पेमेंट कर रहे हो, टचलेस करते हो, एंड ऑब्वियसली कंपनी को क्यों फायदा हुआ 2020 में? मेनी पीपल शिफ्टेड टू पेटीएम. हमने अपने किराने वाले को भी पेटीएम से पैसे देने शुरू कर दिए जो पहले कैश देते थे. तो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज कि जो भी टेक्नोलॉजी कंपनी एनवायरनमेंट को फायदा कर रही है, उसको अगले 20 साल में फायदा होगा. एंड जो भी एनवायरनमेंट को नुकसान करेगी, आज आप जैसे मिस्टर सेठी थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स की बात कर रहे थे कि उनको आजकल फंडिंग ही नहीं मिल रही है, तो आई बिलीव दैट वुड बी अ थीम. एंड एज स्टूडेंट्स व्हाट यू हैव टू डू इज कि यू हैव टू क्रिएट अ विजन फॉर योर लाइफ, कि एक प्रॉब्लम चूज कर लो. क्योंकि मैं स्टूडेंट से बात कर रहा हूं, तो मैं एक चीज बड़ी क्लियर कहता हूं, डोंट लव जॉब्स, डोंट लव टेक्नोलॉजी. बिकॉज देखिए, जॉब तो आपको पता ही है, एआई आ जाएगी 20 साल के बाद, जॉब पता नहीं कितनी होंगी. मैं एक छोटा सा ट्रेलर देता हूं, मैं आपके जितनी उम्र का था 2001 के अराउंड. 2001 में दुनिया बहुत डिफरेंट थी, मोबाइल फोन में कैमरा भी नहीं होता था. मैंने अपने घर में 64 kbs की लाइन लगवाई थी 25,000 रुपीज दे के. एंड मैं पूरे मोहल्ले में पहला आदमी था जिसके पास 64 kbs की लाइन थी, जिसको हम नॉर्मल लाइन कहते हैं. पहले वो डायल इन मोडम्स होते थे, तो मैं पहला आदमी था पूरे मोहल्ले में जिसके पास डायल इन मोडम नहीं था, लाइन थी 64 kbs की. तो मैं आपको ये समझाना इसलिए चाह रहा हूँ क्योंकि 20 साल पहले ये हालात थे हिंदुस्तान के या दुनिया के. एंड 20 साल के पहले 25,000 रुपए का वो मोटे मोटे ब्रिक जैसे फोन आते थे, और आज आप ये देखो कि कितना फर्क हो गया है 20 साल में. तो आप लोग मेरी उम्र के हो गए 2041 में. जब 2041 में दुनिया क्या होगी, वी कैन प्रिडिक्ट. व्हाई? बिकॉज वी नो ड्रोन्स आर कमिंग, वी नो एआई इज कमिंग, वी नो लॉट ऑफ अदर थिंग्स आर कमिंग. तो आप लोग ये मान के चलिए कि जॉब कम होंगी, यू वुड हैव टू डू सम काइंड ऑफ अ सीनियर जॉब, बिकॉज स्टार्टअप्स बहुत सारी होंगी, उनको ऑब्वियसली लोग चाहिए होंगे, या आपको अपनी स्टार्टअप खोलनी पड़ेगी. और वो स्टार्टअप कौन सी चलेगी? जो एनवायरनमेंट को हेल्प कर रही होगी. एलोन मस्क टेल्स यू, उनका एग्जांपल आपको क्लियर बता रहा है. पेटीएम का मैंने क्लोजर होम एग्जांपल बताया. आप डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली एनवायरनमेंट को बेनिफिट करोगे तो आपको फायदा होगा. अगले 20 साल आप एनवायरनमेंट को नुकसान कर रहे होगे तो आपको नुकसान होगा. तो जस्ट हैव दैट विजन एंड एक प्रॉब्लम चूज कर लो. मैं हमेशा ये कहता हूँ, टेक्नोलॉजी इज लाइक अ गर्लफ्रेंड या बॉयफ्रेंड. कि टेक्नोलॉजी चेंज होती रहेगी। जैसे मैंने J2ME पे बुक लिखी, एक दिन स्टीव जॉब्स ने आईफोन लॉन्च किया, मेरी वो सारी बुक, सारी नॉलेज सब बेकार हो गई प्रैक्टिकली स्पीकिंग, क्योंकि वो स्टीव जॉब्स टेक्नोलॉजी J2ME यूज नहीं कर रहे थे अपने फोन में। बट प्रॉब्लम्स आर लाइक 7 जन्मों का रिश्ता जो होता है ना, तो आप ये देखो एकलव्य की जो प्रॉब्लम थी कि वो उस जमाने के एलिट कॉलेज में एडमिशन नहीं ले पा रहे थे, और आज आप लोगों की प्रॉब्लम भी कहीं ना कहीं रही होगी। काफी लोगों ने IIT जी में एडमिशन, IIT जी का एग्जाम दिया होगा, IIT में एडमिशन के लिए नहीं गए होंगे, तो आप लोगों की प्रॉब्लम एकलव्य की प्रॉब्लम सेम थी। तो 100% दुनिया में प्रॉब्लम चेंज नहीं होती। वो प्रॉब्लम्स आप ये देखो, गरीबी की प्रॉब्लम, एनवायरनमेंट की प्रॉब्लम 100 साल पहले भी थी, 100 साल बाद भी होगी किसी ना किसी फॉर्मेट में। तो ट्राई टू लव प्रॉब्लम्स, एंड अगर आप एक प्रॉब्लम चूज कर लोगे, जीवन आपका हो जाएगा। विजय शेखर शर्मा जो पेटीएम के फाउंडर है, उन्होंने एक प्रॉब्लम चूज करी कि हमने फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन देश में करनी है। आज वो देखो अरबपति बन गए, एलॉन मस्क तो वर्ल्ड के रिचेस्ट ही बन गए एनवायरनमेंट को चूज करके। मैंने अपनी लाइफ में एक बहुत बड़ा डिसीजन लिया है रिसेंटली। आई हैव लेफ्ट पेटीएम, अभी आई एम टेक्निकली इन पेटीएम बट आई हैव गिवन रेजिग्नेशन, एंड आई हैव फोकस कि मैं बच्चों को एजुकेशन की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करूंगा। आई एम स्टार्टिंग माय ओन स्टार्टअप फ्रॉम 1st of March। तो मैंने भी एक डिसीजन लिया है कि मैं लोगों को कहता हूँ स्टार्टअप खोलो, और ऑब्वियसली मैं खुद ही जॉब पे हूँ, वो अच्छा नहीं लगता था, तो आई रियलाइज्ड आई शुड स्टार्ट माय ओन स्टार्टअप, एंड आई हैव चोजन दिस प्रॉब्लम। एंड ऑब्वियसली स्टार्टअप में बहुत सारा आपको होता है। एज एन एंडिंग नोट आई एम सेइंग कि स्टार्टअप में देयर इज अ रिस्क, बट स्टार्टअप में कर्म करने का अपना मजा है। बिकॉज इफ यू हैव दिस चैलेंज ना कि ये प्रॉब्लम मैंने सॉल्व करनी है, तो वो प्रॉब्लम जब आप, जैसे वीडियो गेम में होता है, वीडियो गेम में जब तक मॉन्स्टर नहीं होता तो मजा नहीं आता गेम खेलने का। रामायण में जब तक रावण नहीं होता तब तक रामायण बन नहीं सकती। तो इस राम जी अयोध्या में 20 साल रहे, उस समय रामायण नहीं बनी, जब वो अयोध्या से 14 साल निकले तब रामायण बनी। तो ट्राई टू टेक अ प्रॉब्लम ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट, एंड आई पर्सनली फील आज जो प्रॉब्लम है वो 10 साल बाद नहीं होगी, ड्यू टू यंगस्टर्स लाइक यू हु विल क्रिएट who will create startups which will change the environment for the better.
Thank you so much, Saurabh sir. It is always an amazing feeling to listen to your realistic and practical views on the subject, and showing the students, especially the vision for life and loving the problems so that you could serve the society at large. And also, we are glad to see the leaders like you coming in front, taking up those issues and problems, and starting up your own startup. And I'm sure at ITS, we wish you all the best for that venture, and we're sure that it will be another successful story for you.
Thanks.
So with this, I hope we would like to, we are very grateful to Mr. Saurabh for joining us for this panel session 1. And to extend our hearty thanks and gratitude to sir, I would request our director management to kindly present a virtual plaque to Mr. Saurabh Jain. Over to you, Director ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Yashna. Saurabh ji, it is always good to listen to you, and it is from the bottom of your heart, whatever you speak. So thanks for joining us on this forum. Accept this virtual plaque, because this is what we can do virtually. We'll definitely be mailing you some of the memories of the time you spent with us. Once again, thanks for your presence.
Thanks. Welcome.
Thank you so much, ma'am. In the line of discussions, now it is time for me to introduce you all to our other resource speaker, Mr. Sahil Nair, Senior Associate Director, KPMG Mumbai. Before I introduce him to you all, I would like to ensure that, Sahilji, are you able to see me and hear me?
Absolutely, Lakshna, loud and clear. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Sahil is working as Senior Associate Director HR at KPMG Mumbai. He has joined us from Mumbai. He's an HR professional who has a forte in building an employer brand that helps attract and leverage relevant talent. His professional life is about driving the entire employee life cycle with exposure to the finer nuances of human resource and its functioning in a growing and evolving organization. He is also a behavioral scientist and design thinker. Apart from his professional expertise, he is a human storyteller and a versatile writer. Some of his publications are Human Judgment and Not Automation Will Take Center Stage, The Art of Holding on Big Data, Small Minds, Home Away from Home, The Art of Networking, An Expert's View, Is HR reeling under a preconditioned performance assessment syndrome, solidifying a liquid workforce, 7 up, 7 down? Such an interesting profile to even read and come through. I'm very sure we had galaxy of people in the summit, and Mr. Sahil Nair is from the human resource background. So we all look forward to your address, sir. So with these words, I put it to you, sir. Over to you to connect with the audience here on this virtual platform.
Lovely, lovely. So Yashna, thank you so much. Anusha ji, thank you so much. I think it's absolute pleasure. I had the chance to hear Saurabh. I don't know whether he's on or dropped off, but I was really enjoying what he was saying, because more than the content, which a lot of us can Google, the passion with which he really walked the talk, I think that's brilliant. So having said that, I like to spend a couple of minutes, and I'm sure I don't want to make this a monologue, but I would definitely want to make it very interactive with everyone. And I think the topic that you guys have chosen at your institute to really discuss on this virtual conference, I think is of paramount importance. And the reason why I believe so is because, let's look at it this way, right? January 2019, we lived in a world where we called everything normal, okay? Which means if in a city like Bombay, you had to move from Worli Sea Face to Borivali, which is on the western line, you would anywhere spend between 2 to 3 hours. And हम अपनी गाड़ियां में बैठते थे, ड्राइवर गाड़ी चलाता था और हम बोलते थे ये नॉर्मल है, ट्रैफिक नॉर्मल है, या रास्ते खुदे हुए हैं क्योंकि मेट्रो का काम चल रहा है, ये नॉर्मल है, पोल्यूशन इतना बढ़ गया है, सांस नहीं आ रहा है, नॉर्मल है. So we started making peace with what typically was not normal, but we started calling normal. Going to work, traveling 3 hours, 4 hours a day. And I'm sure you had the same story in Ghaziabad, in Noida, in Delhi, in the NCR region, from wherever you traveled. But we all called it normal. We actually came to terms to say stress at work is normal, because log baat karenge, log hain to log kuch na kuch kahenge, it's normal, right? And that's the way we really came to life to say over the years. And I see Mr. Sethi also on video, and he's seen a lot more Diwalis than all of us on the call have seen. And he's seen so many generations. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good, very good. So I think so he's seen so many more Diwalis, and he would obviously have said, ki, haan, I've seen so many generations. But for people like us who came into the workforce, we said, this is fast pace. If you have to survive, it's the rat race. If you have to move ahead, you have to cut and chop, because the pyramid is like this. And all of that was normal. And suddenly, out of nowhere, came this whole COVID. And it was typically what I call the perfect example of VUCA. Many of us had these conferences on VUCA very long ago, and it was all very theoretical. We used to say, of course, you know, there is ambiguity, there is uncertainty, there's volatility, there is complexity. But very few people could give examples, live examples, because they kept going back to saying World War I mein hua tha. That's where VUCA originated. But no one had an example. But I think COVID-19 has been a fantastic live example of VUCA. We didn't know tomorrow if you had to travel to another city, could you travel, could you not? We didn't know what restrictions. We didn't know tomorrow what wave is going to hit us. We didn't know कि आज ताली बजाने वाले हैं कि आज दिया जलाने वाले हैं. And whether that is engagement happening or whether that is actual solidarity to the frontline workers. We didn't know that tomorrow will we contract COVID, because like Saurabh was talking about your video game, just imagine, right? If you go on the street and you could see COVID, you would try and dodge it. But here, you don't even know where you can contract COVID because you just got COVID, right? Many people survived, did well, came out of COVID. Many people, unfortunately, lost their near and dear ones. So this was VUCA in the truest sense. Now, while 2021 was welcomed with a lot of hope, a lot of positivity, a lot of optimism, just recently, all of us are reading about wave 2. And we're reading about the entire lockdown coming back and whether a certain country in the world is underplaying the magnitude of problem number 2. But ladies and gentlemen, while all of this happens, one thing I would definitely want to tell you is, as a human race, my personal belief is in the last 12 months, हम सब, आप, मैं और सब जने बहुत ही ज़्यादा resilient हो गए हैं. And they said this about Mumbai as a city when the bomb blast happened, that we are resilient by force and not by choice. If you look at the movie of Wednesday, right? Now, I think as a country, and not just India, but the world at large, we have become resilient by force and not by choice. And what does this really mean? आप ये बोलेंगे हाँ ठीक है ये सब तो आप बता रहे हो जो हमें पता है, but what does this really mean? This really means to what McKinsey coined as a word long back to say, let's welcome the new normal. And today on your platform, I want to take the opportunity of what I call the neo-normal, N-E-O, the neo-normal. And to my mind, the neo-normal is going to be two things: the balance of the old and the new. So while the new is ahead of us, the old is behind us. And as a human race, if we don't learn the neo-normal, we will only contribute to the disaster that awaits us and awaits our future generations. Now you may come back and say, okay, Sahil, all this is fantastic, but what is this neo-normal? Neo-normal is about not accepting the normal, which essentially means performance managers who had this idiosyncrasy of saying, ये बंदा मेरे कैबिन के बाहर ही बैठना चाहिए, ये काम सिर्फ ऑफिस से ही हो सकता है, और ये सिचुएशन में ये बंदा यहाँ ही रहना चाहिए, is completely broken and thrown outside the window. Because like they say, a chief technology officer or a chief executive officer or a chief of human resources couldn't bring change and transformation the way COVID brought it. Now the question is, do we go back to January 19 as things open up and say, हाँ, travel करना है, मस्ती करनी है, इतने flights पे जाना है, if I have to go and meet clients, I have to get onto a flight because face-to-face connect is the only connect. Or do I say, no, I can still do a Zoom call and maybe reduce, I'm not saying eliminate, I'm saying reduce. If I used to do 5 flights a week, can I do 1 flight a week? And can I contribute to carbon emissions in a very different manner? So ladies and gentlemen, what I'm really trying to say is, let's not go back to what was the past. Let's define a new normal. And as we define this new normal, which I call the neo-normal, what I would request each one of you to do is sit back and ask yourself, जो भी आपकी उम्र है, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever, जो भी मैंने अपनी जिंदगी आज तक जी है, जिस तरीके से जी है, क्या मैं उसमें मैं सिर्फ एक रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूं? Can I change one thing? Just one. Not asking for 5, not asking for 10, ladies and gentlemen. I'm asking for just, can we change one thing that we will do differently? And I see we have almost 300 people on this call. If 300 of us can change one thing, and 300 multiplied by India's population, multiplied by the world population, we all will go back to Michael Jackson's song, Making the World a Better Place. And if we all can make the world a better place, all these conferences will mean nothing because we will walk the talk. And then we will not come and say all the nice and good things to do. It's like a typical Chak De movie, right? आप चक दे देखते हो या आप अच्छा सा एक मूवी बजरंगी भाईजान देखते हो, आप मूवी देखते हो तो आपको गूज़बम्स आ जाते हैं, बड़ा अच्छा लगता है. महाराष्ट्र, गुजरात, नहीं, से इंडिया, राइट? इंडिया, 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 बड़ा अच्छा लगता है सुनने में. वो 3 घंटे बाद आप वापस आते हो, आप वही बोलते हो, अरे यार वो इंसान अच्छा नहीं है यार, उसके ना ईगो है बहुत यार, दैट गाय ट्रबल्स मी, बट दैट प्रोफेसर प्लेस पॉलिटिक्स, बट दैट स्टूडेंट ना वो जाके प्रोफेसर का बहुत ही चाटता है, इसलिए उसको मार्क्स ज्यादा मिलते हैं. Fundamental point that I'm trying to make, ladies and gentlemen, is Goosebumps is a fantastic feeling, but how can you pick up just one thing from that 3-hour movie and bring it to life? And if you can bring it to your life, and I can bring it to my life, and all of us can bring it to our lives, we will have a much better planet to live on. Now, whether you want to pick up plastic, you want to pick up environment, you want to plant more trees, you want to do rally for rivers for Sadhguru, जो करना है आपको आप करिए. No one is here to define the agenda. But one thing we should definitely define on today's call is you guys are the future. And as you guys being the future, pick up, I like what Saurabh said, pick up one problem statement that is bothering you and work on that. Because the day you work on that, and you don't need to be a startup to work on it. You don't need to work in a company to work on it. You don't need to wait till you get a degree from your institute to start working on it. You can start working on it today. And do whatever it takes, guys, but do that. Because when you do that, what you will end up doing is making this world a much, much better place. And in the process of doing that, आप जानेंगे नहीं, but जो आपको खुशी मिलती है, and I'm saying this with a little bit of corporate experience, because when we all start off, हमें ये लगता है कि yeah, you want to get the promotions, you want to get the titles, you want to get the lovely awards that is behind Vidya ma'am's chair. In the lovely cabinet, you have those awards. Let me tell you, I'm so happy that this has gone virtual, because in the last couple of years that I have been visiting MBA colleges, IIMs, IITs across the country, with all due respect, they give you a memento. अभी जो मोमेंटो देते हैं, अगर आप वहीं कॉलेज में छोड़ दो तो उनको बुरा लगता है. So you bring it with you. आप घर लेके आओ तो पहले ना, I'll be very honest guys, पहले बहुत अच्छा लगता है. वो ईगो को ना इतना इन्फ्लेट होता है कि अरे वाह, साहिल नैयर, KPMG, एसोसिएट डायरेक्टर, सीनियर एसोसिएट डायरेक्टर, एंड यू नो लगता है, you want to tell your friends, you want to click pictures, you want to put it on social media, वो लगता है इंस्टा पे डालोगे, कितने लाइक्स आते हैं, कितने हार्ट्स आते हैं, all of that. But as you grow in your journey, you realize, and maybe I'm sounding very preacher, sir, मेरे को बोलेंगे क्यों ज्ञान दे रहे हैं, but trust me, this is the journey of evolution. You realize that these things, with all due respect, are only a piece of wood or a piece of plastic. What really matters and what really brings a lot of happiness is when even one of y'all can do and have even one takeaway from whatever you're hearing through the entire day today. And that is genuine happiness. And if you really watch the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, I encourage each one of you to watch it in case you haven't. That is true happiness. A guy who says and walks into an interview with a banyan on and a jacket on, looking like a rag picker, Chris Gardner, and he goes on to say, I don't know. But I'll tell you, if I don't know, I'll figure it out and I will learn and I will come back. And finally, at the end of the internship period, he not only gets a stipend, he gets a confirmed job. And more than getting a job, he gets that happiness. And trust me, happiness for each one of you may be very different. प्रणव कुमार को जिस तरीके से खुशी मिलेगी, विवेक को अलग खुशी मिलेगी, पारुल जी को अलग मिलेगी, पुनीत कुमार को अलग मिलेगी, which is absolutely fine. But the real point is, while Ritika looks into the screen in that manner, is she exactly listening to what I'm saying? Is it really hitting her here or here? And that is what we need to do. The irony is, ladies and gentlemen, we really get stuck up. हम बचपन में ज्योमेट्री तो हमने सीख लिया, but हम एक चीज बहुत स्ट्रगल करते हैं, is to draw a line that connects this to this to this. What we think, what we say, and what we feel. बहुत टाइम आप नोटिस करेंगे कॉन्ग्रुएंस जिसको बोलते हैं वो नहीं होता है, और जब वो नहीं होता है तो पूरी लाइफ एक ढोंग बन जाती है. और जब हम ढोंग की जिंदगी जीते हैं, then we do lip service. We do tick in the box. हाँ यार, इन्होंने बोला है ना करने को, चलो कर लेते हैं. अच्छा, मार्क्स जरूरी है ना, चलो अटेंड कर लेते हैं लेक्चर. भले ही हम वीडियो बंद है, म्यूट लाइन है, बैठ के सो रहे हैं, किसको क्या पता. टीचर थोड़ी बोलेगी सब वीडियो पे आओ, बोलेगी भी तो नहीं आएंगे. नेटवर्क कनेक्टिविटी, बेस्ट एक्सक्यूज. We can get away with it. But guys, the reality is, and the reason why I'm giving some of these examples is because I have seen this space over the last decade very closely. I started teaching when I was in college. Okay, so I've seen this journey. Now, whether you come to the regulators, be it AICT, be it UGC, be it the university, whether it comes to the placement officers who want to ensure that students get jobs, or whether it means students, I think sustainability in the post-pandemic world will happen only when all the stakeholders join hands and work for each other's success. Otherwise, it is such a vicious circle that we can all get lost in this beautiful circle, which we'll call very cyclic in nature. So as I said, I don't want to make it a monologue. I can keep going on and on, but I want to pause right now and being conscious of time. I don't know how much time we have left, Yachna ji, but if we do have some time, I would love to open it up to ask as many questions as the students have or anybody else has. And I love a rapid fire. So bring it on. If we have a couple of minutes, happy to answer a few questions. Otherwise, back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I hope I would request the audience, if they have any questions, they can put up in the chat box. Sahilji, I'm sure you are going to stick with us for another 5-10 minutes. Meanwhile, they are putting up, and I'll take the opportunity to thank you for joining us for this Virtual Business Summit 2021. I was actually spellbound and lost for 2 minutes in your address, and that's what took me a minute to come back to this platform. And because I was actually mesmerizing your concept that you just spoke about neo-normal and balancing the old and new one. It is definitely, yes, I sincerely believe in, and the TBA, think, behave, and act. I hope this is something which truly this generation need to connect with. And otherwise they will always be in this virtual world forever, which we don't want to. If you really want to come back to the real world, you have to really think, behave, and act accordingly. So once again, thank you so much for such a wonderful session. And to extend our hearty thanks and gratitude to you, I would request our Director Management, Dr. Vidya Sekhri ma'am, to kindly present a virtual plaque to Mr. Sahil Nayyar, Senior Associate Director, KPMG, Mumbai.
Sahilji, I was listening to you entirely, and it was really wonderful because it really connected to the hearts of the students. So I'm sure that students will take few things out of today's deliberations. I think it is going to be, a really life-changing experience for them. So thank you for accepting our invitation, making it possible on this morning, and accept this plaque of honor, though it's virtually. And this is the new normal, this is the life, and we are really happy to connect with you. So accept this.
Vidya ji, thank you so much. I think the way you and the entire team at ITS is doing such a fantastic job. I think more power to all of you, because you guys are the custodians of the future of the country. So if I can be of any help at any point in time, Anusha ji has my number. I'm just a phone call away, and I'll be more than happy to support in any way that you need me to.
Yeah, thank you, Sahilji.
Thank you so much.
So thank you once again.
Absolutely. I have a question.
Sahilji, before, yes, there's a beautiful question from Shraddha, Sahilji, and I would also not like to miss this opportunity because although many of them have would be connecting with you through LinkedIn and Twitter, but Shraddha has a wonderful question, and her question is that what does quality of life really mean, and would a sustainable lifestyle affect our quality of life? What do we have in our life that we could give up without jeopardizing our quality of life? Although it is not one question, there are a couple of questions in our one question. So over to you,
Absolutely.
Sahilji.
I could actually do a 3-hour guest lecture on this, but I'm going to restrict it to 3 minutes, hopefully. But Shraddha, can you come on video? I would love to hear you and interact with you as I answer this question. Is it possible for you, Shraddha?
Hello, sir.
Hi, Shraddha. Do you want to tell me
Good
what did you
afternoon.
mean by your question? While Yashna ji has anyway read it out and I have read it 3 times over, so don't repeat the question, but in fact tell me what are you really trying to ask? Because I can understand you have typed out 3 questions, but I'm sure you have 30 questions behind the 3 questions, and I want to get to those 30 questions in the next 3 minutes, Shraddha. Shraddha, are you there? Okay, no worries. So let's save time, even if Shraddha may have a connectivity issue. So let me answer them one by one. What does quality of life really mean? Let me link this back to 2 concepts from an academic standpoint, and then I'll give you a practical or a practitioner's perspective. When we talk about quality of life, the first thing that comes to our mind is work-life balance. Because in this whole work from home environment, boundaries have blurred. Earlier, geographically, we would be at a workspace, office jate the, college jate the, tuitions ke liye jate the, and फिर घर आते थे. So they were physical boundaries. But now everything being in the house, the boundaries have blurred. So a lot of people will say, how do we strive for work-life balance? And work necessarily doesn't really mean office work. It could be tuitions, it could be, no worries, Shraddha, completely understand. I hope you can hear me now. If not, I'm sure the recording will be available.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
Okay. So the question is work-life balance. Now ask me about it. I'll tell you, according to me, work-life balance is a bloody myth. It's a complete myth because there is nothing called work-life balance. Let me explain. In my definition of things, there is no word in the dictionary called multitasking. We all use it so often, right? Multitask kar rahe hain. Yashna ji is making notes also. She's listening to me also. She's saying, oh my God, time barabar hai ke nahi? Next speaker has come. I need to introduce the next speaker. Vidya ji is trying to see some email on her laptop. अनुषा जी saying यार मैं यही कुर्सी पे बैठी हूँ सुबह से लोग इतना ज्ञान दे रहे हैं मैं पक गई हूँ बट फिर भी हंसना पड़ रहा है एंड ITS events is saying कि मैं अपना नाम क्यों नहीं लिख सकता I need to write down ITS events on सबके दिमाग में अलग अलग चीजें चल रही हैं but the reality of the matter is in my definition there is nothing called as multitasking. What I call is switch tasking, which means multitasking, the definition to me is to say, can you do 2 things at the same time that are value adding? Now you may come and say, Sahil, but of course I drive the car and I listen to music, that's multitasking. Sorry, that's not multitasking in my definition. And therefore, my point is to say, humanly, biologically, humans can only switch tasks unless you're at a very evolved state of mind. तो अगर आप एक बड़े सदगुरु बन गए हो तो आप मल्टीटास्किंग कर सकते हो where you value add 2 places at the same time. Otherwise, you can switch tasks. So you're doing A, you leave A, you do B, very quickly you leave B, come back to A. That is switch tasking. Now what ends up happening when you switch task? The mind experiences a lot of fatigue. And therefore, अगर आप A पूरा complete करके B पे जाते, the processing happens much better. The mind doesn't get exhausted. But if you switch tasks, the mind gets exhausted because it is typically like RAM. You all know what RAM is on the laptop or the computer. जब RAM ज़्यादा use होता रहता है, laptop गर्म हो जाता है. So typically, that's exactly what happens when it happens on switch tasking. Now link switch tasking to multitasking, untangle it, and come back to work-life balance. There's nothing called work-life balance. what we all should strive for is work-life harmony, which means I was on a jury in the morning. From there, I went on to another MBA college that invited me to address their students. The third session I had was where I was selecting MBA students for their entrance exam. Anusha ji requested, I said, I'll definitely come for half an hour. I'm going to finish this and go back to another session. Now you ask me, Sahil, can you do this at the same time on Teams, be on another college, at the same time on a conference call, attend to a work call? Humanly not possible. There are a lot of people who can be on 3 calls at the same time, but are they really contributing 100%? I don't think so. Therefore, if there is no multitasking, there is no work-life balance. If there is switch tasking, there is work-life harmony. So when you're doing this, I am in harmony with all the 300 of you, 250, 270, 280 to say, Sahil's 100% is with you for the time that I am with you. And when I'm 100% with you, my quality of life, Shraddha, coming to your question, and thank you for the patience to really wait to get this concept, is 100% with you. And therefore, my definition of quality of life is harmony. Jab aap apne saath, when you're in peace with yourself, your quality of life is much better than when you're trying to find peace with the world. Which also brings me to my next concept of locus of control. Is it internal or is it external? I won't spend too much time getting into the details, but quality of life has 3 dimensions.
Internal.
Absolutely.
Internal LOC.
Absolutely. So my definition of quality of life has 3 concepts: locus of control, internal, work-life harmony, and most important, an attitude of gratitude. If you go out in the world to search for problems, you will definitely find some. But if you go out in the world to look at goodness, you will definitely find some. So if you have an attitude of gratitude, your quality of life will move away from cribbing to appreciating. A sustainable life effect on our quality of life, absolutely brilliant. You can't go and change the world. Start by changing yourself. Can you stop dropping a plastic on the road? Can you stop spitting on the road? Can you stop doing 10 things? Start doing it. Dusra kare na kare, karega. You'll see that change happens with you. Lastly, your third part of your question, what do we have in our life that we could give up without jeopardizing our quality of life? I'll tell you just one thing here. Give up excuses. I think the easiest thing that we have in our life for not doing things are excuses. The day you, Shraddha, you and the remaining 300 of us want to do something, we don't find excuses. We find only outcomes and we find results. And while Mr. Sethi is very carefully listening to us, I'm sure he can give us hundreds and thousands of examples in his life where when he wanted to do something, or in his life when he's interacted with so many thousands of people, excuses are the only reason for not doing things. आपको नहीं करना है, बोला आपको नहीं करना है. Excuse मत दो. Because the day you give an excuse, you are not only fooling the world, you're fooling yourself. So Shraddha, I want to keep it crisp, but a long answer to a very short question, but a very deep question. If you still want to chat, I'm available offline. You can take my number and we can chat. But Yashna ji, I'm conscious of time, so back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for patiently answering to Shraddha's question. And it has a deep message, and I am sure this deep message has been conveyed to all the 300 who are present here. So thank you once again, Mr. Nayyar, for wonderful address and for joining us for this on this virtual platform, despite being your schedule as you just communicated to us. So thank you once again, and we shall be connected in future also.
Thank you so much for having me, and I wish you and all the other speakers for this conference all the very best.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day. So without not taking much of the time, I hope it is time for me to introduce you all to our next eminent speaker, Mr. Sulabh Goyal, Vice President Ernst & Young. Before I introduce him to you all, I wanted to be sure that Mr. Sulabh, I hope I'm audible and visible to you.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, sir. So Mr. Sulabh possesses 15 plus years of experience with large public and private clients, as well as with multilateral funding agencies like World Bank, ADB, spanning across sectors like transportation, real estate, and tourism. He has been involved in successful closure of some of the major public-private partnership projects and important advisory assignments in India as well as in international geography. As a part of various large infrastructure projects, he has been involved in handling different facets of infrastructure consulting, such as project poisoning, feasibility study, financial assessment, bid process management for selection of implementation agency, and many more. I'm sure participants will have a great experience to listen to Mr. Sulabh Goyal. And at this note, I request Mr. Goyal to kindly share his experience and learnings with the audience available here on the virtual platform. Over to you, Mr. Goyal.
Thank you, Yachna. Thank you, Dr. Sikri, ITS Management, and all the students for inviting me in this business summit. Before I'll just start on this discussion part, let me just thank Mr. Sethi, Mr. Saurav, and Sahil for sharing this insight. And some of the insight are really interesting in terms of the pandemic pre and post we are talking about. So now the entire time frame has actually changed. Before we used to say pre and post BC. Now we are talking about pre and post pandemic. So that way, definitely the entire lifestyle, the overall thought process, everything has been changed personally as well as professionally for all of us. And that way, considering the topic that we have been given as a part of this panel discussion, so largely Mr. Sethi, Saurav, and Sahil, all three of them has talked about the environment aspect. So I part of infrastructure team in ENY. So let me just share some of the thought specifically in the sustainability and governance part. What is happening in terms of the infrastructure? What is the kind of role government is playing pre-pandemic, and what are the policies that has been changed after this unprecedented scenario? You can see that in terms of the pandemic part, specifically we talk about, say, public transport. This is one of the most impacted aspect. The moment in March 2020, the lockdown was announced, and since then there was almost, like, if we talk about Indian Railways itself, roughly around 4 to 5 billion USD revenue loss was there. In terms of the metro, also the metro corporation was run almost shut for almost like 7-8 months. So the overall focus which government was talking about specifically in the public transport part, now that has slightly shifted from providing a mass transport to a certain more solutions related to the podcast based you can say transportation part. In terms of the in terms of the urban infrastructure part also, a new terminology which many of we were aware, which was the work from home culture. So now everybody is talking about the work from home part, and the overall focus with all the kind of job opportunities, any kind of working from a metro city, now that has been changed from metro cities to tier 2 and tier 3. So this is one of the major aspect which is shifting, and in terms of the overall development part also, uh, the tier 2 and tier 3 city are the new frontier which will drive the overall development in terms of the Indian growth in the Indian growth story. In terms of the urbanization part, if we look at the current urbanization, that is roughly around 30%. And India is actually aiming for roughly around 50% by 2030. So if we need to grow and urbanize ourselves to a bigger set of cities, this pandemic is actually come as a sort of opportunities disguise, and it has actually created lot of job opportunity. It has created lot of real estate opportunities in a tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Many of the companies, many of the firms have now shifted their base to these cities. So this is one area where post pandemic this will create a new frontier, and this is going to be a major driver in terms of the economic growth. So this is one area. Second part, if we talk about the area we are talking about after the pandemic part, you can say that the private financing is one of the focus area for the government. See, um, for everyone, I'm just sharing my thought process because I am a part of an infrastructure domain, and just sharing the thought process that after this entire situation, what is happening in the infrastructure space, what is the kind of measures that has been taken by the government, so that that will give you an idea in terms of how the entire situation is quickly changing. So in terms of, if we are talking about the private financing, so public private partnership model, which was initially being restricted to few areas, now it is being tested in different other infrastructure sectors also. More and more concessions, more and more relaxation is being given to the private players, so that they come up, they can put in their money in the infrastructure space in terms of different projects, and so that the overall burden on the government part can be reduced. So this is another part. In terms of if we talk about again the environment perspective, earlier we used to travel, see, agar aap mujhse pucho, so till last year I used to travel around 3 hours a day to work, and that was like Sahil has mentioned, the neo normal or the new normal. So that was one area which we were taking as a very very normal scenario, that if somebody is traveling like 3 to 4 hours a day to work, that is very common. Now after this entire pandemic part, now the work from home culture has actually reduced this entire travel time. You don't need to travel anywhere, and you can work from any location. So not only from tier 2 city, you can now, there is a new concept of Varco hill station sort of. So you can take a place in any hilly area and you can work from that part also. So that is also it is promoting a new talent in different smaller towns which were reluctant to come to metro cities. So that is one area. And second is in terms of the carbon footprint also. As an entire service industry, we are contributing to the reduction of the carbon footprint. So that is also, in a collective manner, we are contributing to the reduction of the carbon footprint, and we are putting our best foot forward in terms of the environment part also. Like everybody has seen in the first 6 months, we never used to see any blue sky, especially in the Delhi NCR. So that was a welcome change uh, from pandemic situation. मेरी सोसाइटी में, so I never used to even listen to any birds voice. अभी pandemic situation में I used to have a opportunity to stay at home for almost like 6-7 months, and that is the time when actually I started appreciating the entire nature and the environment. So that is also a sort of a welcome change in many of your thought process. So that is also one of the area where we are seeing lot of changes. In terms of now coming back to the overall mindset of the government and the overall mindset of the economic part. in last few days, few months, I would say, we are also hearing about the Atmanirbhar Bharat. So that is also one of the area where pandemic has actually brought that kind of feeling among all the citizen of India, that indigenization of the product, indigenization of the services should be more promoted, so that whatever deficit and whatever things has happened in last 1 year, we can make more these scenarios or these situation can make ourselves more self-dependent, self-reliant, and dependent less on the other countries. So that is also one of the areas and new frontiers that is coming up as a part of the sustainability and the governance point of view. In terms of the overall real estate point of view, also I would just say that uh, the overall balancing act is happening in the, especially in the real estate sector, where the tier 2 and tier 3 cities are also coming, and the inflation in the overall renters in term the asset class, that has also sort of balancing out. So these are some of the areas uh, which I have shared in terms of the overall pandemic part. Now I'm sure I still have around 5 minutes or so. So that part I'll just keep it for the question and answer part. Yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you so much, Sulabh sir, for sharing the perspective on the infrastructure sector, that how pre and post, what are all things happening in the infrastructure sector. I hope we will keep up the questions to the audience. I would take up if they post any kind of questions in the chat box. I'll be taking it up, and I'm sure you are going to be here with us for another 5-10 minutes. But we are sincerely thankful to you for joining us for this panel session 1 and sharing your expert views and learnings on this theme in hand. At this note, we express our thanks and gratitude to Mr. Sulabh Goyal. And to do so, we request our Director Management to kindly present a virtual plaque to Mr. Sulabh Goyal.
Sulabhji, thank you for your words, and accept this plaque of honor, because again, it's a new normal, the virtual world. So accept this, and we again extend our thanks for sparing your valuable time with the students. I'm sure that deliberations coming out from today's panel discussion is going to give really food for thought for the students. So we would definitely be mailing you some of the memories of this event, which the time you have spent with us. Thank you, Sulabhji, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you once again, sir. So ladies and gentlemen, in line of the discussion, now it is time for me to introduce you all to our next eminent speaker, Ms. Ritika Mathur, Director, Grant Thornton. Before I introduce her to you all, I wanted to be sure that Ms. Ritika is able to see me and hear me properly.
Yeah, yes, Ms. Rachna, I can hear you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. So I'll just take 2 minutes, ma'am, to introduce you. Ms. Ritika has over 10 years of consulting experience with a focus on strategy, execution, performance management, performance improvement, program management, and business and market research. She is currently the Chief of the Staff to the CEO at Grant Thornton Bharat, as well as a Director in Human Capital Consulting team at GT. She has expertise in strategy consulting, focusing on people and process transformation, organization structure and design, as well as performance management architecture linked to the organization goals. She led the growth and development of the business and market research vertical in 2 prominent global organizations. And prior to her role with Grant Thornton, she worked with EY, where she played a pivotal role in setting up a new team with EY Global Delivery Center focused on cross-sector market research. Ms. Ritika has represented GT at various national and international forums as one of the emerging millennial leaders of GT globally. So with these words, I request Ms. Ritika Mathur to kindly share her words of wisdom with all of you. Over to you, Ritika ji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ashna. And thank you, everybody, for having me. It was such a pleasure listening to all the eminent panelists before me. I mean, I'm so glad I was the last of the panelists, so I could actually, get inputs and insights from everybody, and maybe try and build a little bit into my, inputs as well as a very eminent panelist spoke about. So thanks, Ashna, for that introduction. When I was approached for this session, I thought a lot about what to speak about, right? I'm a consultant. I can talk a lot about data and jargons, and I can also show some fancy slides. But I thought I'll keep it a little simple. I will talk about some aspects, so the topic was talking about, environment, sustainability, and governance. And I thought, what is the one area that brings everything together? What is the one aspect specifically in this post-pandemic world that touches everybody? Be it a student, be it me as as somebody in the sector, be it in the industry. I think the external economy, the way it is impacted by the pandemic, is one area that has touched upon all of us in whatever we do, as a taxpayer as well as a student. It will impact the decisions that you will make in which sectors to go into. So when I started listening, there was this thing that Mr. Sethi touched upon, which really, was so pertinent. He spoke about very aptly about what Mr. Shekhawat said to him in the session that he attended, that it's easy for us as armchair evangelists to talk about environment, while sitting in air-conditioned rooms. But reality of life is different for parents, where focus is to make sure that your kids are well fed at the end of the day. And that's what got me thinking. Economy, which is basically the factor in making decisions, or in actually how money works for everybody, is the one area where there is an interplay between how equity impacts environment, because economy is that factor in the middle, right? Some of you might, who follow IMF might know that, as per the latest forecast that IMF has given, the global economy at a global level has shrunk by over 3%. So a reduction of 300 basis points at a global level, you can well, imagine of how that translates into the trillions of dollars, right? But from India's aspect, that economy has actually shrunk by almost 11%. 11% reduction in Indian economy from the earlier years. And that's the highest reduction in any emerging economy. And the reason for that is simple. It's because the proportion of our population that is vulnerable, that is actually, focused on some of these unorganized sectors, as we call it, is the highest in India, So what does that mean, And let me say that, basically we are the second most populous nation in the world. And only 35% of our population is actually urban, only 35%. So let's say that we are privileged. Let's not forget that we are privileged to be able to talk about and debate about sustainability without a worry amongst us. So what does that mean? So, what does that need to change? And this is where I feel, the neo-normal, as Sahil talked about, it needs to essentially be driven as by the third aspect of your theme, which you spoke about, which was essentially the new frontiers in governance. Our policymakers will need to think a lot more differently. We'll need to focus on very different aspects when we talk about environment, because the focus also has to be bringing in equity. Environment and equity go in hand in hand. They need to go in together. So let me take a step and talk a little bit about what is it that the government has done, just to give you a little bit insight into where we are at this point of time. For some of you who might have heard the budget this time, I will not go into the details, as as consultants we focused a lot about actually decoding the budget for our clients. I'm not going to go into the details of that, don't worry. I'm not going to make it a monologue. For those of you who are interested, please feel free to reach out to me separately and we can talk about the technicals of the budget, but not going into there right now. But yes, I will touch upon the areas that directionally our policymakers have gone in right now. And the reason I would like to do that is because I would like to also share with you my thoughts in terms of what do we need to do more, not just, what do the policymakers need to do more. And as students, why it's important, I feel, for everybody to actually be aware of, because when you make decisions in your career in terms of which sectors to go into, in terms of, which we also have people, who are working in technology and science from the environment, from the institute. So when you talk about which areas to focus on, this should also be paramount in your thought process around what is it that as a nation we need to work towards more. So the 6 key pillars that the policymakers focused on in this budget were, the first being health and well-being. So you might have seen that there was almost like a 137% more allocation this year to health and well-being. Also infrastructure, there was a lot of focus on building roads and highways, as Saurabh rightly put it before me. There was conversation around inclusive development. So in case you saw, there is a new change in the wage and the labor code. So a lot more people, even from the unorganized sectors, are being brought into the social security schemes, access to insurance and other areas, reinvigorating human capital. There's also been, focus on innovation, and in research and development, there has been, I think, around a 1,500 crore investment made in the National Research Organization. And the last was minimum government and maximum governance. So if I focus more on the direction, I think directionally fine, the budget is, touching upon the aspects that definitely, seem to be going the right way. But in terms of what do we need to do more to bring in a lot more focus on sustainability and equity to go together? The first, in my opinion, is how to actually focus on bringing back a more sustained recovery when it comes to pandemic, right? So you can talk a lot about, we heard from Saurabh on the focus that the government has had on infrastructure, but one of the areas that I feel which is woefully underfinanced in India right now is basically bringing in, more sustainable urban public mobility, right? You would still see, specifically for those, in the north part of India, there's a lot less talk about in urban, cities, a lot less talk about how do you reduce the number of cars on the road, right? Because the public transport infrastructure is so woefully inadequate. In Delhi, you would still have metros which people can, go ahead and take, but the proportion of population that needs to access it versus the infrastructure that exists right now for places beyond Delhi is woefully inadequate. And budget after budget, I think that is one area that we still don't see enough focus on. And that could not, and I feel there is a lot more, focus that is needed even from a technology perspective in this particular aspect. So maybe one, thing for students, to note that this is one area, this is one sector which will need involvement, not just from the government, but also from the generation coming up. That from an investment perspective and even from a work perspective, this is one area that we need to look a lot into. And any new technologies, not just from an infrastructure perspective, but clean new technologies. There's focus on, e-vehicles, there's focus on solar energy, but there's not enough focus on a lot of drivers. So everybody, almost everybody is from NCR here, I believe so. And you would see the kind of air pollution that we are living in. It's almost like we're living in chimneys. Yesterday, it was so smoggy that we couldn't see 5 meters ahead of our windows. And we've spoken a lot about the hazards of it, but we haven't, I feel, spoken enough about the drivers of it, right? What is it that is causing it? And it's not the fact that we don't know what is causing it. We all are aware of some of the key issues that are actually causing this air pollution. But in terms of investment in technologies and in terms of actually availability of technologies to be able to reduce some of this, there is a lot more that needs to be done. Then moving on to healthcare, great from a budget perspective, great introduction of, you would have seen in the earlier budgets, there was always, healthcare has always been relegated to the third or fourth spot, defense probably being on the top. And it was very encouraging to see this one for the first time. healthcare being on the top of the agenda. We saw almost a 137% increase in the allocation of healthcare budget. But the bigger question comes in the implementation part of things, right? How do we actually make sure that the right kind of focus is there on healthcare by way of actually, bringing in a lot more focus on public health from a tertiary and a secondary healthcare perspective. There's not enough hospitals, there are not enough doctors or medical sciences access to in the rural parts of India. And maybe that's one thing for us as corporates and you as students to think upon, that how do we help, while policymakers do what they do by the way of investment, how do we think about actually going ahead and maybe participating in this sector, maybe going ahead and thinking more about, a lot of you probably might think of going ahead and having your own startups or actually working in younger companies. And when we talk about startups, we talk a lot about tech startups in India focusing on the ecosystem of convenience, right? We speak a lot about how integrators are coming into the fray. But we don't always, a lot of times, talk about how sustainable startups, which focus on medical technology, are actually coming into the picture. So maybe that's one area of, this is a sector I can very easily tell you is going to go on a boom in the next at least 4 to 5 years. And as students, maybe it's something for you to think about on what new areas of healthcare technology can you focus on. What more areas of sustainable technology which focuses on making healthcare more accessible to the rural, to a larger population of the country to focus upon. And lastly, I think one of the most important areas that the government, the corporates, and everybody on this call probably needs to think about more is making skill development a lot more accessible to people, right? A large population of our displaced, workers comes from, unorganized sectors. And we talk a lot about how the ecosystem is going to change after pandemic and how things are, even from a workplace perspective, the focus is going to be on digitization, on automation, on bringing in new technologies, which is going to reduce the need for manual intervention. So what does that mean for people who actually depend on on these sectors for their livelihood? There is a need at an institutional level to actually go ahead and bring in more opportunities for vocational training accessible to these people, so that they can think a lot more about what more they can do, how do they adapt themselves to the changing dynamics of the world, right? Even when you talk about manufacturing, things are going to change the way they are set up right now. Productions are not going to happen the way they are. There's going to be a lot less manual intervention, a lot more focus on robotics. And therefore, there's a need for people who belong in these sectors to be reskilled, to be, for them to be learning more about how do they become participants